Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Baby Back Rib Show, and I've got another video for you guys today. I thought it would be pretty fun because there's so many. I was doing my power rankings this week, and I realized that there are so many teams that are 2-7 right now. It's crazy. So many bottom feeders. There's not a team who has won less than 2 games, but there's like seven. There's actually 8 teams that are 2-7. I included the Titans, who are 2-6, because they probably would be 2-7 if they didn't have a bye. And so we're gonna go through and rank these 2-7 teams to see who's the most buns of them all, or who has the most potential to get out of this hole. If you guys liked the last video, I appreciate it, and let me know what you guys think of this one. I thought it'd be kind of fun, fun idea just for this week. So coming in at number 8, we have the Carolina Panthers, who I think are the worst team in the league right now. Their most valuable player is Chuba Hubbard. Their starting quarterback is Bryce Young right now, so I think Andy Dalton did officially get benched. Bryce Young is their starter again. X factor, I think, is Xavier Legette. I think if he breaks out the second half of his rookie year as the wide receiver 1, that could elevate this team to get out of this hole. Their offense is ranked 30th in yards per game. Defense is ranked 32nd in yards per game. And they have lost by a combined 146 points. Well, they've won a couple games, but the difference in their score so far this season is 146. Yeah, the Panthers have not been good. And they have some fun players, like Chuba Hubbard's broken out. Xavier Legette is a fun player. But this defense is so bad. It's laugh out loud bad. Even with the addition of Jadeveon Clowney, yeah, it's this defense is horrible, but they can be fun to watch. I would say out of all of these teams, they are sometimes, for some reason, one of the more fun teams to watch. Coming in at number 7, we have Drake. Oh my gosh, I almost said Drake May. We have the New England Patriots, who also have been very bad. Their offense is what is bringing them down. Their offense is horrible. It's been a little bit elevated since Drake May. Their MVP has been Keon White. He's been very good for them this year on the defensive side of the ball. Their starting quarterback now is Drake May after starting the year with Jacoby Brissett. Their X factor, I also think, is Drake May because I think he is the one who can elevate this offense. They have like I said, dead last in offensive yards per game, 32nd offense, 26th defense, so their defense really isn't that good either. And their difference is negative 76. And with the Patriots, I mean, this is exactly where we expected them to be. And you take away 2 upset losses against teams they shouldn't have beat. They are 0-9. And I wouldn't be surprised if they were 0-9. This team is very bad. Like I said, Drake May has shown some flashes this season, so that is one little tidbit of good news for Patriots fans. But other than that, this offensive line is horrible. This defense is really not that good anymore, and their offense is absolutely buns. But one thing I do want to let you guys know is I took into account how good their offense is, how good their defense is when I ranked these teams, their score difference, but then also what teams they have beaten in those 2 games. So the Patriots have beaten the Bengals and the Jets, and the Panthers, I think, beat 2 bottom feeders. They beat the Raiders, and they just recently beat the Saints. So 2 teams that are also on this list. Coming in at number 6, we have the Tennessee Titans. Their MVP right now is Amani Hooker, safety. He has been fantastic this season. You could also throw Jonathan Simmons in there, of course. Their starting quarterback is Will Levis, probably the worst starting quarterback in the entire NFL. X factor, the guy who can elevate the most, I think, is Tony Pollard, who's already been good. But if he performs even better in the second half of the year, he could win some games for them. Their offense is ranked 27th, but their defense is actually ranked 1st in the NFL in defensive yards allowed per game. Obviously, that is not everything, but this defense has been really good. It's disappointing that their offense has been so bad and hasn't allowed them to win any games. Their score difference is negative 73, and yeah, just disappointing offense. Other than Tony Pollard, I would say Will Levis is just so bad. They need to move on from him. Mason Rudolph's been not good really either. But they have a defense to build off of, so that is a start. But they just need to add to this offense in the upcoming draft in April after this season. Coming in at number 5, we have the Las Vegas Raiders. I apologize. The Tennessee Titans beat the Miami Dolphins without Tua, and they just beat the Patriots this past week. But at number 5, we have the Las Vegas Raiders, who have also beaten some teams they should not be beating. Their MVP, I think, is Max Crosby. Their starting quarterback is Aiden O'Connell. I believe he is on IR right now, but I believe he will be their starting quarterback when he comes back. Their X factor, I think, is Jacoby Myers. If he breaks out in the absence of Devontae Adams, he's already having a pretty decent year, then he can definitely elevate this team. Their offense, I think, is ranked 29th. Their defense is ranked 13th. So pretty solid defense, honestly, and it's what's allowed them to win these 2 games. Their score difference is -83. They have, of course, beaten the Baltimore Ravens, my lovely Ravens. And I'm trying to think of the other team they beat. Oh, they beat the Browns, so that makes sense. But they beat the Ravens in week 2, which is just ridiculous. And they are not the only team on this list who have done that, unfortunately. But, you know, the Raiders have, like, for some reason hung in some games. Like, they lost to the Chiefs by a touchdown, and they beat the Ravens. And, you know, they've made some games pretty close. So, I don't know. I think they deserve a shout for that. But they're about middle of the pack here. Coming in at number 4, we have the New Orleans Saints, who we definitely did not expect to be on this list or be in the conversation of these other teams at the end. 2 games into the season when they looked like the 2013 Denver Broncos. But the Saints have been very bad in those 7 games since. Derek Carr has been hurt, of course, but this defense has just been absolutely horrible. No excuses. Dennis Allen did get fired, which I think is deserved because, yeah, he was missing Derek Carr, but Dennis Allen is supposed to be a defensive coach, and their defense has been atrocious. Their MVP is obviously Alvin Kamara, who's been having a ridiculous season this year. Their starting quarterback is Derek Carr when he comes back from injury. Their X factor, I think, is Derek Carr. When he comes back, I think this offense will start playing better. Their offense is ranked 16th, about middle of the pack, and their defense is ranked 28th. And their score difference is actually only -22. So they really haven't gotten blown out apart from that Denver Broncos game this season. But still very, very bad. Yeah, like I said, not too much to talk about with this team other than that had a very, very good start and they've fizzled out since, and it's large in part to this defense. Coming in at number 3, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let me go back. Sorry, the Saints beat the Panthers, the Panthers week 1, and they beat the Cowboys week 2. But jumping into number 3 with the Jacksonville Jaguars, their MVP this year has definitely been Trevor Lawrence, I think. He's won some games, kept them in some games this season. He had a bad week last week, but other than that, he's been pretty solid this season. And their starting quarterback is Trevor Lawrence. Their X factor, I think, is Tank Bigsby. I think if he takes over this backfield, this offense will start to perform better. Their offense is ranked 21st in the NFL, so not super bad here, but their defense is ranked 31st. It's been very, very, very bad in Jacksonville on the defensive side of the ball. And the difference is, their score difference is -57. So Brian Thomas Jr. has obviously been a very bright spot for them. Trevor Lawrence has improved, I would say. Christian Kirk hasn't been too bad. Travis Etienne has definitely been disappointing. But yeah, it's going to be a rebuild time in Jacksonville. I mean, no matter how hard they try, this defense was supposed to be solid, and they are performing very bad this season. So I wouldn't be surprised if they start rebuilding. Coming in at number 2, we have the New York Giants. Their MVP has definitely been rookie Malik Neighbors. Their quarterback is Daniel Jones. Their X factor, I think, is Tyrone Trace. Is it Tyrone Trace Jr. or Tyrone Tracy Jr.? I forget. I'm second guessing myself now that I'm reading this. But their offense is ranked 26th. Their defense is not too bad at 18th here. And their score difference is -63. So Malik Neighbors has obviously been amazing. He's been saving Daniel Jones's career, his job. Devin Singletary hasn't been too good, but Tyrone Tracy Jr., I think it's Tracy. It flows together right. He's been definitely a bright spot for them. This defense still pretty solid like they usually are, but I'd say the Giants have hung in, kind of like the Raiders. They've hung in with some teams that they really shouldn't have. And the Jaguars beat the Browns and the Colts. And then, because I keep forgetting to mention that. The Giants, however, they've beaten I want to say the Browns as well. There's a lot of teams on this list that have beaten the Browns. And I'm trying to think of who else. I'm pretty sure they beat a team that they had no business beating as well. I cannot remember off the top of my head. But yeah, I can't remember. I'll have to look that up. But yeah, the Giants I feel like have been, hanging in games. They've been performing honestly better than I thought they would have, especially when they had no Devin Singletary and no Malik Neighbors. Their offense didn't take like that hard of a fall. But obviously getting these guys back, their offense looks way better. Coming in at number 1, we have the Cleveland Browns, who I think have the most potential to win some games for the rest of the season. I just think with Jameson, it elevates this offense so much, even though I know they just lost to the Chargers, but that was a tough matchup, and it was a little bit of a slump for Jameis and this offense. I think they'll bounce back. I think this team will finish the season strong, the second half of the season strong. Their MVP is obviously Myles Garrett, always will be. Their starting quarterback is Jameis Winston. I think their X factor is Nick Chubb, because if Nick Chubb starts to actually perform like Nick Chubb, this team will be a lot better. Their offense is ranked 31st in the NFL. Like I said, think that's going to go up with Jameis Winston, and their defense is ranked 15th. Their score difference this season is -65. And yeah, the Browns have looked really, really good with Jameis in that Baltimore game. I mean, I thought for sure they had a chance to beat LA, and LA kind of shut them up. But I do think they'll learn from that loss, and I think they showed some flashes in that win against the Ravens, where I think that this team has the most potential to not be a bottom feeder at the end of the year. But I think the teams that they obviously beat the Ravens, and honestly, I think I'm getting that Browns-Jaguars game mixed up. I believe the Browns actually beat the Jaguars. That's one of their wins. But I could be wrong. But let me know what you guys think of this video. Obviously a short one. Just thought it would be kind of fun to jump in and see who really is the worst of the worst. So far, I think it's the Panthers and the Patriots, who have just, been pretty bad, and with the Patriots at least winning games that they shouldn't be winning. But let me know what you guys think. It was a fun week for sure. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys later.